All righty. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. It is another wonderful Wednesday. So you know what that means. It's Talking Tech with Ty, and this is the what? Learner series. Oh, I'm getting fancy. You see
We
the overlay? I'm fancy out here. Let me stop. It's me, your girl, Tech Ty, and I am joined by my friend and colleague, the lovely Tammia Hubbard. We're going to be talking with Tammia today for our Learners series. Tammia and I were colleagues and fellows in the same tech sales boot camp or job training program, SV Academy. So today she and I are going to talk about her experience and a little bit more in depth on my experience as it mirrors hers. And we were in the same cohort when we did SV Academy back in October of 2020. So, without further ado, everyone, meet my homie, my friend, my colleague, Tammia Hubbard. Hey, hi, Tammia.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Tammia. So, as I have already said, Tammia did the tech sales boot camp or job training program with me. She was a learner at SV Academy. But not only that, she is currently an SDR or sales development representative. Excuse me, got a little tongue tied at Jobvite, and it's very exciting. So she has now been working in the field, and we're going to talk about her experience through the program into her current role in tech sales and all along that journey. So, Tammia, let us talk about SV Academy. So, you and I did the program. We were in cohort 36 back in October of 2020. Where were you in your life that you found SV? I think everyone who has tuned in before knows somewhat of where I was and how I found SV Academy. But where were you in your life and how did you come across SV Academy?
Yeah, so that is a good question. But it feels like yesterday. It was October 2019. I had ended a contract role in HR and recruiting, and I was looking for more work. So I was applying to jobs in HR and recruiting, and then March comes, and then they're like, COVID hit, and it's like, we're not really hiring anymore. We're pausing hiring, and I was just applying, just networking with different people just to learn more about what am I going to do. And then a friend reached out to me in September of 2020, said, "Hey, this development could be for you." And I was like, "Sales, I'm not really sure if I want to do that." But like, I had no other options. It was like either because I was working part time at the time. I was like, I need to make some money, and so I said, why not? So I ended up applying for SV Academy, and then still on the fence about it. But then they told me I got in, and I was like, oh well, I have an option now. Like, what can I do? Like, so I decided to just join the program and joining that program, doing it for a month. Um, actually led me to, well, not led me to, but I'm still at SD. I'm still in sales, and then it's like a year later, I'm in with another role with another company, but I'm an SDR now. So that's what kind of my trajectory been since I've made the move to um, being a sales development boot camp with the SV Academy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Not only that, what kind of career path were you in prior to being in SV Academy? From our conversations, because we are friends, I know, but you seemed hesitant about being in sales. Where were you before? And, why did sales resonate with you after you did get the opportunity?
Yeah, so I was doing contracting in the HR and recruiting, so I was trying to get my foot in the door. So a lot of temp work, nothing steady, and I
Hmm.
feel like that's what kind of wanted me. Drove me to like even like applying for like the SB Academy and just getting in and say, hey, I could probably do this role because like commission is nice and the work that I put in, I realized that I can make money in this and like something I wanted to be more permanent, and so that's what kind of led me to pursuing a career in sales after I was trying to get into HR and recruiting.
Great. So, for everyone that is out there in the audience, where what the program that we did is probably very much the same in terms of its curriculum, but there has to have been updates in the processes and stuff. So, can we talk about your application process? Because you had mentioned that a friend went ahead and suggested and mentioned and encouraged you to apply. So, what was the application process like for you? And then let's talk a bit more about your excitement once you got accepted and said, okay, let's do this.
Man, do I even remember the process?
Okay, if you don't, I got
I
more
remember
questions.
I remember I applied and I remember that I spoke with a member of SB Academy. I cannot remember the name, and my apologies, but I know they had an intro call, where I learned more about SB Academy. I learned about what I could expect for the next few weeks that I'll be with in the academy, and from there I joined and got to meet other individuals like me who were looking for a fresh start, in sales, and that's how we met. So
Hmm. So, how was the program for you in terms of the curriculum, in terms of the pace, in terms of the intensity? Because our cohort started at around 32 people. I remember that the very first week. And then by the second week, we were down to 16. And then there was a young man who had a family emergency. And then we were down to 15 to finish weeks 2, 3, and 4 since it was a full 1 month program.
mhm.
So, how was, from day one, initial day to the final day, how was that for you?
Well, I would say it was something that I didn't really expect. It was very intense. Um, 40 hours a week in front of a computer. Like it was like I got to only interact with you via Zoom because we obviously were in the beginning of the pandemic still. Well, we still are, but to just learning more about sales terminology, how to prospect, how to do cold calling, how to work with a group, how to present. um so it was very informative, but it was very like intense, like, and you said like you mentioned before, like figure out we even had many people even join the program, and then like so few of us actually stuck with the program um at its completion for us.
Absolutely. So, you found it to be intense. What about the pace? Because it was on, it was 8 hours a day, and um, it was from me, because I'm East Coast. So tell the people where you're located as well. Everyone knows that I'm in Brooklyn, NYC, So for me, the program was from, I believe, 12 to 7 or 12 to 8 p.m. And because it was based on in Pacific Standard Time and I was in Eastern Standard, so it was most of the latter half of my day.
Right.
And for you?
So I'm in San Francisco, so I'm in the Bay Area, and it was 9 to 5 for me.
And that was all of your day. I at least
That's
got
the
a
that's the work day, right? So it was all
yeah,
of my day.
yes. Absolutely, and there was tons of assignments that we had to complete, group work that we had to do every single day, stand-ups, all of that collaborations and getting things submitted on time. And something that I like to remind people and really tell people about when I have these conversations with learners is that I don't see programs like SV Academy, boot camps, training programs. I don't see them as environments for just learning and like synonymous and similar to the classroom experience. No, I see them as job training programs, job simulation programs. Like, is that what you were expecting? Because I was expecting that it would be similar to the actual workplace. Also, like, I had worked remotely off and on for years prior to this program. I'd also been in a boot camp years before. So I, for the most part, knew what I was getting into and was as prepared as I could be. But was this your first boot camp? Did your expectations meet the reality of the program? What was it looking like for you from what you thought it would be to what it actually was?
Um, so it wasn't what I expected, but honestly, I had to keep an open mind because I had never done a boot camp before, and I never was working remotely. So that was a challenge that I had to adjust to, like sitting in front of my screen for like 8 hours a day,
Mhm.
like not leaving the house. So that's something I had to like adjust because we weren't really meeting each other. We were just, doing work via Zoom. So,
Mhm. And to me and I are homies, and we still have never met IRL in real life. We talk regularly and we talk regularly via Zoom and via LinkedIn, never met in person, but we talk very regularly. So it's just like, Tamia is one of the few people that I have like a consistent uh, relationship with from that program. So I'm grateful. So it made sense to have my homie talk about her experience. So let's talk about what comes after graduation and with the completion of this program, which is really the impetus for why I started this series and for really why I even decided I wanted to live stream and broadcast on LinkedIn. This whole thing for me was about the fact that there is so much that transpires when someone completes a program, or if they don't complete a program, or they technically graduate. It's like, what happens next? Because I didn't see much conversation around that. So, before Tamia answers, I want the audience to know another reason why I asked Tamia to speak with me in the Learn this series is because she and her experience in our friendship, our fellowship, um, since being in the program has inspired me to do this. And we actually didn't even we actually didn't even collaborate much while we were in the program. I don't think that we had any sessions where we actually overlapped in group work. I don't think so. I think it we actually came together in the post graduation for the career services portion of our program, where we were in small groups, and we were a part of the pilot for the career services. So that's where Tammy and I actually connected, because we didn't have any crossover being a part of the fellowship in that 1 month's time. So just to bring it back to me, what was your experience once we completed SV Academy? I'd really like to hear that, and I'd like the audience to know that, because everyone is different.
oh, I would say it was very similar to what was happening before I joined SB Academy. Um, I had to apply for jobs, and uh, it took me 6 months to land my first role as an SDR. So upon completing the program, I was applying for roles, and it just felt like I wasn't. I can remember like it was yesterday. It just felt like nothing I did was right, or it didn't make sense. And so things I would do is I would just try to. One thing I did to just help get more help was I reached out to. I made sure to just ask for help, like, and I was vulnerable on LinkedIn, and that's how I started to get more people who were coming into my inbox saying to me like, "We can support you." So I did lots of mock calls. I know I practiced with you. I know I practiced with other communities, like sales for the culture. I met a lot of people who were willing to help me, because I saw that I was willing to help myself. And from this, I got a mentor from SB Academy, Brandon, and we still meet weekly to this day. So shout out to Brandon.
Shout out,
But yeah,
Brandon.
it was just so it was just a lot of work in terms of like I knew I wasn't gonna get a job out like immediately out the boot camp, but it was just like it took me a long time. It took me like quite a while. I feel like I was the last person to get a job in our cohort. Like it took me a long time to get 6 months. it took me a while to get a job. So
Yes, and results vary. I'm not going to get into the statistics of what the attrition rate is and the like with SV Academy specifically, but what I want to highlight is that every single job training program, the learners or the fellows have different experiences while in the program, after the program, applying for the program. And me, I believe it took me 6 to 7 weeks
yeah.
to secure a role following graduation. And I had actually had, prior to graduating, I'd had a lot of, I would say, engagement and interaction with interviewing.
Hmm.
So prior to even graduation, I was like, I had the momentum up. And then it took about 6.5, maybe 7 full weeks to secure a role. And then that was at the end of 2020. And I started a role on the first business day of 2021. And what I was mentioning to you is that to me and I didn't really even interact. I don't think we had one small group session where we were together, or if we were together in any other like work groups at all. I don't think so.
I think we had one work group because I remember we used to call you the nap queen. That's how I got to know
Oh
you like
yes, yes.
naps.
Oh, okay,
I think we
okay.
had one one.
Listen, your girl can take a oh, your girl can take a nap. I took a nap before this, and I'm gonna take a nap after this. That's how I rejuvenate. Like I'm not into self-sabotage. I'm not going to put myself in negative positions. I'm gonna take a nap. And I'm gonna get up feeling refreshed. And my subconscious and conscious brain is gonna come together while I'm I've been making my parents and laugh by fake snoring my entire life. So I'm a pro at this. Yes. So we did have at least one session. My apologies. And then I mentioned career services after, and we actually weren't in any groups after, but when I started to notice that other people in our cohort, and I tell you, we were 15, so it wasn't that many, were getting jobs and posting on LinkedIn. I was like, okay, what about Tammia? I'm waiting to see some action from Tammia. I'm waiting to see some engagement from Tammia. And then I had to just go ahead and slide in the DMs and be like, what's up? Like, how can I assist you? How can I help you? What is it that you need? Because for me, the community and the fellowship didn't end once we completed the program. We gotta get you there.
Mhm.
So if you are amenable, I like to really talk about a bit more in depth what those 6 months looked like for you, because you said they really mirrored the time before you even started the program, which is something that you decided to do as
Mhm.
when you realized it was your only option in order to transform your life professionally and personally, which is why we have this forum, the learner series and the founder series, to professionally and personally transform our lives. So what did that look like for you? And more so, I mean about the day to day, because we know that finding a job is a job. You could work with me, you could work with other colleagues that were interested in supporting you with mock calls and preparation, but it's only you at the end of the day who's going through it.
Right.
So what were you going through, Tamia?
Yeah. So still working part time.
Mhm.
But like you said, like because I feel like this is my only option. Like I was like, yeah, I've already spent like what I already spent like a year, like 14 months applying for jobs, and I did this program to just make sure I get my foot in the door and tech, and it's like nothing. Like I don't know what I was doing, but just like it wasn't in vain, but it felt like, so what am I gonna do now? And I mentioned before, like, so I decided to, you know, be vulnerable, try video, and get on LinkedIn and say, hey, like, I'm trying to tech sales, like for these particular roles, because I knew that for me to get a job, I wanted to be targeted in my approach, and I wanted to. So I was targeting like ed tech and HR and then to tech firms for me to get into. So, but then just me being able to just say, hey, this is Tamia. You can also go on my LinkedIn and see like I wrote a video. This is like what, a year ago. What it's still on my page where I just say, hey, I'm transitioning to tech. I need help. Like, can someone help me in so many words? And like, people didn't just say, hey, my company is hiring, or someone's looking for help, or who will support you. And like, that's how it would be my mentor. He said, to me in your video, like, I saw like you're committed to your own improving your own growth because you were vulnerable, and like that's how I was able to. And he told me that that's how we started our mentorship. But yeah, just like, and from there, I was able to collaborate with other people who told me about other communities, and like I joined those communities. I asked for help. I sought out support, but it was still like a daily grind, like because I still wasn't like, even if I was getting like, I was getting, the whole process, like, I was getting interviews, made it to the second stage, and then like either no calls, no shows, no feedback. So just like, how can I improve if I don't know what I need to improve on? I mean, I had an idea of it, but it wasn't really concrete. And so I had feedback from people who were actually helping me prepare. They're able to tell me like, you need to work on your story. Like your story is important. Like I knew that I'm not a great interviewer, but I knew that like if I can be vulnerable with my story, and that definitely helped me. Because I know for the company that helped me prior to Jobvite, the question he asked me, I said, hey, I need to be given a chance. Like I know I can do the work, and I need someone to take a chance at me. Like, and they moved me forward, and I was like, I was honest. Like, I didn't have a script. I just said, I'm to me, and it's all. I said, forget the BS. I need an opportunity, and they first want to take a chance on me, and they take a chance on me, and that's where I am today. So
That's great to hear. And since he took a chance on you, you don't have to divulge the former company. I mean, it's on your LinkedIn. Let's talk about how you felt when you actually secured that first role. So you went from 14 months of a nonstop job search, applying. Then
mm-hmm,
you spent a month doing a full-time intensive boot camp
mm-hmm,
in software sales in order to get your foot into the door and transition into tech, and then another 6 months trying to secure a new role in tech and software sales. I mean, that's already 21 months. And then here we are, you get the role. How are you feeling once you secure this new role in tech and a new career path and a new job? What was that like for you, Tamia?
yeah. So I was excited, and I let you know I was so excited, but I was drained. And I told you, and I said, if I don't get this job, I'm taking a break
Yeah.
because I was so drained by that time. Like that's a long, like the whole process from start to finish. Like I can't keep going. I feel like I'm gonna get burnt out.
Hmm.
And I got the offer, and so I was happy, but I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of like doubt remained. Like, can I even do this role? Like it took me this long to get it. Do I deserve this role? So there was a lot of doubt. There was like a lot of doubt. Nonetheless, so was my first role as an SDR.
Absolutely. And, we had conversations, as you mentioned, about the doubt, about, you know, um, keeping your skills sharp in the 6 months time from when you finish the program to actually securing a role, and seeing if you could do it because you weren't doing that type of work every single day to stay on top of those skills that you had learned and you were
Right.
very focused on and spending the time, energy, and money on. So before we get more into how that first role was, can we talk about your obligations now that you've secured a role and what that meant for you with SV Academy? So I believe, as we talked about privately, you did an ISA, which is an income share agreement. I also did an ISA to go ahead and fund my job simulation, job training education with SV Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So, with your ISA, how did that work for you now that you secured a role?
Okay, so like you said, so I think the terms of the agreement or for the ISA is that once we land a role, we have to pay off what was agreed upon. We had to pay off a certain amount of money, and so that's. But as you know, like once you land a role, you don't start making money or at least steady money to like a month. A month later. At least for me, that's what it seemed like. And so I didn't really have the funds. to start paying off my loan until like another couple of months down. 'Cause I want to make sure that I actually had income for myself. I wanted to make sure that I was stable enough to start contributing to what we had, what was outlined in our contract. And so, um, is that what you're asking me? Just to clarify.
Absolutely. Um, also, what did that mean for you? Now, we had talked about just now the fact that you had doubt because it had been 6 months between you actually completing the program and getting a job. So I think about emotionally where you were. You said you were working, a part-time job. You were concerned about your skills. You had the doubt, and now you have this responsibility that you know about. Yes, but now you
Mm-hmm.
have this responsibility to also make financial repayment to the program. So how did that all that play for you in terms of starting in this job? And now you also have, when you're in software sales, you have a quota. There are certain standards and certain markers that you have to meet as a part of your job responsibilities. So how did all that play out for you?
Oh, thanks for clarifying. Yes, I was stressed. I wanted to make sure that I feel my obligation and my duty because I did sign up for it and I knew what to expect. But it's also like I feel like I have to juggle all the different things that are going on in my own mind,
Mm.
um, based on what I was experiencing. Even before landing the role, and then have to figure out. Now that I'm in this role, you said it's quota based, it's commission based. I got to figure out how do I still do my job effectively, and so I can make more money, so I can be able to pay off, you know, with my agreement with SB Academy. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm stressed, very anxious, um, but I know I have to come up with a plan.
Okay. So how'd you come up with a plan? What insights would you share with those in the audience that are thinking about doing any type of job training program, any tech boot camp, and or those who are in a position like you where it took them a bit longer than the average than what it I don't say want to say that the average than what is projected as the average to find the job, and then move into that space where you secure the job and now
Mhm.
you're working the job but you have the financial responsibility. What insights would you give people based on your own experience, Tamia?
Well, I don't know if it's frowned upon, but I actually was working two jobs at the time to make sure that I could. So I was working two jobs, so I was able to take the money from my part time job to go towards the tuition, and I definitely that helped me out a lot. Like I didn't have to, yeah, I didn't have to. I had another way to make to pay off the tuition rather than work rather than just do um rather than just depending on one job, I was able to do that. And also, I'm very good at. I know how to save money, so I'm and live very frugally in the Bay Area. Well, you have to. It's crazy out here, but I was very good at saving, just understanding where my money's going, um, when I spend that money on each day, each month, and then just having that extra job definitely helped. So.
Okay, so now you are maintaining a part-time job and now you secured a full-time job. What is your day or your week looking like, Tamia?
60-hour days,
60-hour
8 to 5.
days? Weeks.
Okay, maybe like 50 to 60. Like like sometimes you 8 to 5, and then you're working like maybe like 6 to 8, 9 to 8, 6 to 10. The weekends are booked with just working, so like nonstop. But it's like a whole continuous cycle, just like working, working and working. So.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Now, here we are in April,
Mhm.
and you are successfully in a new role. Excuse me, you're in a new company in the same role.
Mhm.
Now, I'd like to talk about, the learnings from the first role to your current role. Where are you? Because someone, Tamia, had a recent post on her LinkedIn, yeah, talking about you made quota. And that was huge and that was exciting, because everyone's journey is different. But what we all know is that it's a grind to be an SDR or a BDR. So making quota is awesome. Exceeding quota is awesome. And that feeling is outstanding. So from where you were, where you had a job search, including job retraining, which totaled 21 months during
Mhm.
a global pandemic, you know, and then starting a job and having to maintain a part-time job in order to meet your minimum basic living expenses and your responsibility to make a tuition repayment, and then all that you've gone through, where are you today? And, if you could give us some insights on where you were a year ago to where you are today. And, I don't want to use the term often, but give us a tea, please. Please to me. Give us the tea. What's up?
Well, yeah, well, a lot can happen for you in a year, 6 months, 2 months. Um, but like in February, I met and exceeded quota for the first time ever as an SDR, and I hit quota last month as well. So I had hit quota two months in a row. Want to keep this momentum up, but like to be honest, like it took me such a long time to get here. Like this was not like no overnight success. Like I had to like grind and figure out um, what I could do to better myself, but also to make sure that I was hitting quota, because commission is nice and extra money is nice, and that extra money did go to paying off with my agreement with SV Academy, and I don't have any more of that, so I don't have to worry about that anymore, and I feel like that's a whole relief, a whole relief now. But I'm in a much better space. I still have doubt, but I want to just like put that. I put that on the side and then deal with that later on when I'm not working, because I think that's can be a detriment to turn to like my success. But and in a much better space now. I'm more stable, um, bringing in more money than I have than I've had ever, and different spaces. So
Well, we got to break that down because you said a lot there. You said you met it and you've met quota 2 straight months in a row, and you
mhm.
also met and exceeded quota, and you said extra money. Girl, that ain't extra, you earned that.
Well,
That
I mean, you're right. It's not extra money. I
that is a
am
part
grinding
of
to get
your
that money.
compensation. Yes. So, for those that are unaware about the compensation structure for software sales people, you get a base salary and you also have your variable, which is a part of your total compensation. So, for meeting your quota and exceeding your quota, you have certain accelerators, you have certain access to percentages of the contract value that you bring in, or if you have a number of qualified calls that you need to meet, from there you get a percentage of that, um, in terms of financial compensation that is variable. So depending on, you know, what type of job you do that month, and the amount of business you bring in that month, or how you hit your quota and when you hit your quota in that month or that respective time, could also be quarterly. Some people have monthly bonuses, quarterly, and the like. Then you kind of tap into your variable compensation, which is not extra. You earned it and you worked for it. And that is in addition to your overall base salary, which is now letting you know about your total compensation, your TC. And for us specifically in software sales, your base salary and your variable compensation is also known as OTE, on target earnings. So the base plus the OTE can equal the total compensation. So just to let you know how that works, if you're trying to read a job description or wondering if you want to go into software sales, it can be very lucrative. Um, but the entry level role that I do recommend, it can be very, very grueling and grind you down and the like. But we're getting back to Tammia because you mentioned not only making this extra money, you're more stable, but you also said you kind of snuck that in there that you continue to pay as fees. So have you completed your total repayment of your tuition from your ISA or income share agreement? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
I finished. I paid it
Oh,
off last month. I mean, no, last. Oh yeah, last month, last week. Yeah, I paid it off.
congratulations. So now you
Thank
no
you.
longer have that a financial responsibility, and the total compensation that you're making, including the OTA that I just mentioned, can come straight to you and stay with you to be redistributed to other aspects of your financial portfolio, correct?
Correct.
That's great. I love to hear that. I love to hear that, you said you're making more money than ever. We want that for you. Everybody in the audience, listen, we want that for my girl. All right? So send her that energy. Send her the vibes. Send her the energy because I'm definitely sending it. To who? To you, Tamia. That's exciting. So I want to talk about the fact that you're at Jobvite, and you had mentioned that you were looking into HR tech as well as ed tech. And I believe your first role was in ed tech, and now you're
Mhm.
in HR tech. But prior to you moving into software sales and being in the tech industry, you were in HR. So how is this? Is this a natural pairing of your pre boot camp skills and your post boot camp skills? Like, is this where you think you want to go? Because sometimes it aligns like that, where some people were whatever they were doing in their pre boot camp life helps to inform what they do after. They might be successful maybe in a certain market or um, sub industry that
Mhm.
really aligns with who they are, because everyone has a specific and respective skills that are unique to them, that when paired properly can really make them successful. So I kind of feel like, oh, my girl was in HR prior, is in HR tech right now, meeting and exceeding quota. This makes sense. Come on. Talk to us.
No, so I definitely like I did a 360. So for this time, I'm
Wait, wait,
actually
360,
in the,
because that means you be back in the same place you were at
no,
180.
no, no, girl. Well, what is it? 180, girl. I don't know
Yes.
what I'm talking about. Long day,
No,
but
it's okay. Thank you for being with us. It is a long day. Go ahead.
but no, I really enjoy being in the HR space. I don't. Yeah, I enjoy being in this space, and that I feel like there's direct alignment from what I was doing before to what I'm doing now. I'm actually learning more about how can we help TA teams with engaging, attracting, and retaining talent, because it is a great recession and people are finding like they deserve more as an employee, and so we're
Yes.
trying to help companies retain those employees and get more in the door. So
Mhm. And as everyone knows, or maybe some people don't know, if you're new to Talking Tech with Ty, in my founder series, I've already talked with two founders who have created talent acquisition programs or tech boot camps to train the next talent acquisition professionals, from recruiter to technical sourcer, people that are going to help secure talent for the future. So I know that that is hot if you're on your, oh my goodness. I've said LinkedIn a few times and I haven't done this yet. LinkedIn, I love you, but you know it. So for anyone, oh goodness, can't even see my face. Ring light. For anyone who is on LinkedIn, I hope you're seeing this, because how could you not? All the talent acquisition jobs that are out there. There's so many jobs all day long. And I don't think, and from what I've talked to founders about and other industry professionals, I don't think that that demand is going to wane at all. The need for recruiters, and there's so many more jobs besides that job title of recruiter, which is why I stick to talent acquisition professional, and those people are going to be needed. So, I just think about the fact that you had those skills prior and you're continuing to use those skills and expand your skill set and your knowledge in tech, which is where you wanted to be, and in a sales role. And I think sales skills, and I'm learning that more and more, are really invaluable and very much transferable. So they always say, like, the job that most CEOs have had that has helped them become CEOs and retain their roles as CEOs is as salespeople. So I'm just saying, this one, this one has the potential to be a CEO in the very near future. Tech skills, software sales skills, HR skills. I mean, the sky is really the limit. But it's okay not to know exactly what you want to do right now or where you want to go. But I think it is really great to really take a moment to reflect on the journey. And that's what we do here in Talking Tech with Ty, to reflect on the journey of where you were to where you are and where you could be. So to me, I really do appreciate you speaking with us here at Talking Tech with Ty in our Learner series. Do you have any insights that you want to share with anyone who might be interested in SV Academy about your journey or interested in any tech bootcamp or job training program?
Um, I would just say be open. Because, like, if I wasn't open to the opportunity, I probably wouldn't be in this space today. So whatever you decide to do, just be open. Um, be open to opportunities. Be open to just being vulnerable. Ask for help. Take advice, and just be comfortable with like being uncomfortable and not knowing what's next. But that's yeah, that's the only way you'll be able to grow and develop. So
Excuse me, sounding more and more CEO like with every sentence. Like what's up? you know? And also I want to ask like specifically, for those who may have a different trajectory in terms of finding and attaining a role after their completion, would you give that same advice to deal with the anxiety, to deal with the feelings of doubt, to deal with all that comes with, probably having a part-time job while trying to secure a full-time job and working 60 hours a week and the like how what insights or what words of wisdom would you give to those people who are in the shoes you were formerly in and hoping to get where you are right now?
that is a good question.
I'm prepared. I'm
Yeah,
prepared.
that is a good.
I'm
Yeah,
ready with
I'm
the
just
question.
because I don't know someone else's story, their journey. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
worked for me. I mean, it's definitely. I'm not gonna say it's not easy. It's so much the role itself. It's a daily grind, and if you're committed to putting in the work, just figuring out what works for you. Like you don't even if you're if you make designs, if you have something on the side, I would just say look at what you can do, and just and work on that to make sure that you're able to just I guess pay off faster or just I don't know. I don't want to be cliche, but that's what I did to make sure that I was able to pay off. To make sure that I was able to do my due diligence. But it guess it just depends on where everyone is coming from in their journey. So.
Absolutely. And it's okay to be cliche every once in a while. That doesn't mean you're basic, boo. It's, it just means that you found some transferable sage advice based on your personalized, unique experience that may align with other people's experiences. And before we wrap up and get going, I just want to say I'm wishing you continued success. It has been really great watching your journey, being a part of your journey, being a part of your community. And many times you talked about those people that helped you. And because I'm one of those people, I just want to say that this is the importance of community. Like, let's be clear. To me, it has also helped me, but this conversation was about Tamia and about her journey. So we didn't really get into how our relationship um, has blessed me as well. But this is why I talk so much about community. And she mentioned vulnerability and being open to asking for help and receiving help. So before we go, I just want to say thank you so much for your friendship, for your fellowship. Thank you for your sisterhood and for being here on Talking Tech with Ty in the Learner series. And we're wishing you a great career moving forward in tech sales or wherever you want to go. And that's it, everyone. We're wrapping up and we'll see you next Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.